whether you are going to look at the data as an individual package or you're going to see it as a series altogether, the mean is always going to follow you. The median is the middle score for a set of data that has been arranged in order of magnitude. Mode will define the number of times a behavior, a number or a variable that is repeated again and again. Good morning and welcome to the second session in the Bridge course for economics, where we are going to talk about the measures of central tendency. This is a very simple topic and the most wanted topic when it comes to statistics and economics. Right from the beginning, we are all about calculating on averages, numbers, and its movements. And the importance of these numbers will matter a lot in terms of economics. So what exactly is a central tendency, the measure of it? So a measure of central tendency is a single value that attempts to describe a set of data by identifying the central position within that data. Now look at that words, by identifying the central position in that data, which means to say that on a given run, we are very much interested about calculating the averages because that's how we have been trained, we have been taught about economics. So any day when people ask you this question, what is that data that we are talking about? On an average, what it is all about. So you use this word called as on an average. So that's where the word of measure of central tendency comes into it, central value of the data. So probably when you read through a news article or when you go through any of the description that is being provided, there might be hundreds and thousands of data, what is being predicted, what is being told about, but that is not our real core interest. What interest is the central value? What is it all about in one single line, in a crisp manner? So with that, let's go for the first one called as the arithmetic mean. The mean or the average is the most popular and well-known central tendency data. Now let's go back to our school days where we always used to ask this question, how much is our average marks? What is the average score? What is the average percentage? Probably that's a very boring question. I definitely know about it, but still that is the question that was asked to you and to me 100 times. Why? Because everybody wanted to know how we were performing. But then for us, that was just a number. For others, that was a benchmark. That's exactly where this arithmetic mean comes into it. So all of us used to study 5 or 6 subjects. So what we used to do is that add all the marks of that 5 or 6 subject and divide it by the total number of subjects. We used to get a value. And then from there, you used to get the percentage there. Now we used to proudly say, okay, 85%, 80%, 90, 95%, whatever what that value was. But then that mean or the average value really meant a lot for us. So higher the percentage, higher the happiness altogether. So that's how we were being told and we were measured as a part of our academic performance. Nevertheless, but that's the same thing that continues in terms of economics also. Everybody wants to know the average value as we keep talking about the economic data. So at the end of the day, people want to know what is the average value that is being utilized for a particular sum or for a particular data altogether. Now, we can use this both in discrete and continuous data, although its use is often in the continuous factor. Now, what happens here is that whether you are going to look at the data as an individual package or you're going to see it as a series altogether, the mean is always going to follow you. So whether you're going to talk about some random data that is being taken about from some corner of the globe, or you're going to talk about a data which is just picked up from some value altogether, but we are not going to keep quiet. We are just going to keep on looking into the data. We're going to keep on asking this question, okay, fine, A plus B is equal to C, then what is the value? So that's how we just keep on doing up this data work all together, and we finally come back and say that this is what we wanted, this is what we ought to do. So that's how exactly this data comes into picture, comes into our mind at any given point of time. Now, followed by which? The median. The median is the middle score for a set of data that has been arranged in order of magnitude. The median is affected by outliers and the skewed data. So that middle value, the median value, right? For example, let's go back again to our school days, how we were divided in the classrooms, how we were made to sit, or during our physical training period or the physical education period. This median was definitely used. The middle person, the middle value, where the line starts, the group is divided, we have been put in particular sections, all those were based on the median factors altogether. In fact, the median has got a very important aspect or an application in economics. Why? Because we start looking out for a set of data in economics where we want to see on a median, on an average basis, what has been the performance of that sector altogether. So that's where we are really bothered about this median value. So when it comes to that median value, we are very much interested about understanding the magnitude of performance, the magnitude at which it keeps working, at the level at which it keeps working altogether. So the median or the middle value is definitely going to be of a higher order, of a high benefit altogether. And this is where the median is always affected by the external factor. So if there is going to be a change in the data, if there's going to be a change in the parameters of performance, then automatically the median value will also change. So for example, if they're going to give you a set of data like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what you would do is that you look for the middle value. So the middle value here is 4. So 3 on your left hand side, 3 on your right hand side, the middle value is 4. That's where we use the median. Now this is very simple. Why? Because we just have 7 numbers countable in nature. But once you have a median which has got some 100 odd numbers or 200 odd numbers on your screen, then we are going to use this median with a formula. But definitely the median has got a deep value and impact when you do the economic analysis. Followed by the mode, the most frequent score in our data set. Now this is got a high level of application related to our real life. Most of the time, people ask you what's your favorite number. So you keep repeating one number in your mind. You keep repeating one type of score. You keep repeating one type of performance. And you keep repeating one kind of behavior again and again, which means we are in a mode. That's why we also say game mode, racing mode, or we try to say a calm mode, peace mode. All of these kind of modes come into picture. So mode will define the number of times a behavior, a number, or a variable that is repeated again and again. So mode is a very important function that you guys are going to learn in terms of economics. So moment you are able to see that a particular value or a particular number being repeated again and again in the system, then definitely mode has got a very important score in our data. So that's why we try to see that how many times that particular value is being repeated again and again in the system. Followed by the conclusion factor that we are going to talk for this session is that the best measures of central tendency, we are going to talk about the nominal, which comes under the mode value. The ordinal is normally a median because we have a sectoral factor there. The interval ratio, which is not skewed, then we are going to use the mean data. The interval ratio, which is skewed, then we again have a median data. So what is this factor is that whenever you have data in a nominal mode, we are going to go by the mode, which means the number of times a particular event is repeated. Whenever you have in an ordinal mode, that means you're going to give priority ranking methodology, then we are going to use the median factor. Interval ratio, when you see an interval like this, 35 to 40, 30 to 35, when you see these kind of ratios, yes, definitely we are going to use the mean value. And when it's a skewed data altogether, we are again going to rely back on the median system. So definitely the measures of central tendency will play an important role in statistics, in collection of data and interpreting the same when it comes to the economic applications. Now with this, I come to the conclusion of this particular session. I hope and believe that all the information shared through this session will be of a great help and resource to you. In the upcoming sessions, we would learn something more interesting in economics. But until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.